Hey guys, I'm going to go over using the Voiceover Enhancement plugin and Noise Gate and Final Cut Pro 10. I've previously made a video on this before, and it was kind of very basic. Now, after using it for quite a while, I'm going to go much more in depth how to use it and how to fatten up your voice to kind of get that radio sound to it, to add warmth and clarity using the EQ. So I'm going to go through all the aspects of that, and I learned a whole lot more using this plugin, and there's actually some things that are pretty cool. So we already have everything set up. We have the Voiceover Enhancement plugin already installed. We increased the display for the audio, so it'll be easier to see in the video as well. So depending on if you're male or female, obviously you're going to set up your Voiceover Enhancement either as male or female, and I prefer the punchy male voiceover, which we're using right now. And I love this plugin because it has 3 plugins at once. Instead of having 3 separate ones, I'd actually have 4, so including the noise gate. So many things like about this plugin. First thing we're going to take a look at is the compressor right here, and let me see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 different compressors that you can choose from. And initially, when I was using this, I chose the one that had the most compression, depending on my particular recording. And I was going through here, and I think at the time the Vintage Opto was the one that had the most compression. As you could see, it would the recording wasn't loud enough, so adding more compression actually raised it up as well and added more compression. So once I did this, and it wasn't quite enough compression for my use. And just to show you, when you're setting compression, is you want the volume around -12 to -6 dB. And here, just to show you, where I'm going to run this, and I can't get this thing to go here. And take a look at the audio meters when I run this audio here. And it's not quite enough. It's not quite accurate enough. So we're actually going to add more compression in the makeup to set the dB a little bit higher. Now, what I like about this plugin is it's got the slider right here for the amount. So once you initially set it, and if it's not enough or too much, you can adjust it out. Now watch what happens to the compressor when I adjust the slider. Normally it's set at 50%. So watch when I increase the amount. It affects 2 sliders, the threshold and the makeup, going back and forth. So when I increase it, the threshold, it increases compression. Likewise, it also adjusts, it adds more makeup, because anytime you increase the threshold or the compression, it's going to make the audio volume less. So you have to make that up during compression. So it's going to increase the makeup, and vice versa. If it's too loud, it's going to reduce the threshold, and it's going to reduce the makeup because it's going to get louder, subtracting the threshold. So I love this part. You don't have to worry about adjusting both knobs. It does it automatically, so you can just set it to what you want. Now, I think when I was in here before, I think I set it at about 77, which we're going to set it at right there. So that's how I got the compressor. It's set and ready to go. Now the second part's probably going to take the longest just to show you, which is channel EQ. And oh wow, okay, for some reason it didn't set it, and that's okay. I already had it set before, and it's for some reason it set it back to 0. Usually with this the EQ, I like to set everything flat. Here it's already been adjusted. This is the preset, I think, so I usually try to flatten it out as much as possible, and then as a starting point. So I'm going to click all that, and there we go, we're starting out flat. So what we're going to do is for male voices, we should increase around 180 to 200 Hertz. We're going to increase that by 5 dB, and I think it's right here. Or wait a minute, well, maybe it's right there. Excuse me. Or is it right here? Nope, that's 500. Okay, we're going to take it right here, and we're going to move it over to the right here. Now we're going to increase that by 5 dB. Now look down here, because we highlighted this section right here. And here it shows you what Hertz and how many dB, and setting the Q as well, which I'll go into. Now you want to increase the 180 to 200 by anywhere from 3 to 5 dB, and we're just going to raise that up, and as you see, as you increase it, there we go, we got 5 dB right there, about 180. We'll just leave it there. Now notice it also affects the other frequencies as well, as it slowly increases to the Hertz that you set it at, and then it decreases as well. I don't like you can also set the range, which is the Q as well, and this is the third one down here, which is 0.71. You can either you can take these sliders right here, and you can reduce it down. Now I don't like to make it too narrow or too wide. I like it set at about medium, so it affects the other frequencies as well, as it slowly brings it up to the certain frequency and then lowers it back down. Okay, so this adds warmth to your EQ as well, and we're also going to go to the 3000 kilohertz range, or 3000 hertz, I guess you could say as well. So I'm going to go here, and let me see if I can find that right around here. Anywhere from 3000 to 3500, something right there, and we'll set it at about 3000 hertz. We're also going to increase that by about 5 dB. And like I said, I like to not too wide or narrow frequencies, just about a medium. And as you see, that sets the Q, how many frequencies it affects going up to that Hertz. Okay, so we got 180 around, and 180 Hertz, and then of course 3000 Hertz as well, both by around 5 dB, anywhere from 3 to 5 dB, just like that. We're going to set it right there. What's also nice about this as well is you can use this to fix your audio if there's problems. We just use that to boost warmth and clarity and enhance it, get it more fatter. Now let's say you're recording outside, and it's very windy, and you're going to hear a lot of rumble in your microphone. So you can actually come here and set a low pass filter, or I believe, excuse me, I think it's a high bypass filter. So what it does is cut the bass frequencies and take some of that rumbling out. And I actually like bass, a lot more bass in my vocals, but so I'm going to reduce that down a bit. It all depends, and you can do the same thing with the very high frequencies. You can cut those off as well. For instance, if you use a shotgun microphone, it's very, in my opinion, those are very tinny, high-endy anyway. So you can cut the high frequencies off as well, something like that. So you can actually use that as a tool. What I love about this EQ as well is it has this analyzer, and let me set this analyzer here. We're going to put the audio way back here because we're actually going to run this analyzer for you so you can see. And let me see if it's turned on here. Okay, we're going to turn that on. So you get real time, you can analyze this your audio track as you're setting the EQ. And as you can see, my voice around the it is actually kind of boosted anyway in the 200 range frequency. And you can also use this to repair audio as well, if, to get rid of certain frequencies. So as you run this, you could actually adjust both of these as you're running it back and forth to see where it enhances it the most, around the 3000 kilohertz range. And same thing with the 200 range. You can adjust it a little bit back and forth, finding that sweet spot where it sounds the best. So I love this analyzer as you're using this plugin. It's a very great way of doing it as well. So okay, that's one way you can fatten up your audio right here. We're going to turn off the audio right here. So that's setting the EQ to make it sound much better. Now I admit I don't use the de-esser very much or mess with it. It's already included, so I just leave it alone, so I don't mess with that. Now the noise gate, I always like using noise gates. And actually my room does have a little bit of noise, not very much, but it takes it out. And the way that a gate works is it cuts off the audio totally until you speak into the mic, and then once it goes past the threshold of your voice, it'll turn the audio back on. So the idea here is your voice is going to be louder than the background noise, whatever it is. And once you stop talking, it'll shut it off again. And then a lot of times, if you don't have this filter on, what will happen is you're not talking, you'll actually hear that background noise. It could be AC, refrigerator, it could be a dog barking in the distance, or it can even be electronic noise from your preamp. If you don't have very good preamps in your audio, this will help take that out. And I usually find with this, setting this, it's really easy for me. I just set it at fast gate and it works perfectly. So you might have to go in there and adjust it, your preset, or even go into the gate itself. And let me pause it. I'm going to see if I can get the audio so you can actually hear it once I have it all adjusted out. And